Delhi
Yeah.
or major big cities, which is again far from Punjab. So I'm like, if I have to move out, I'm gonna just like go to a different country.
We are back with one more episode of the Cloud Native Talks, and we have the Rishab Kumar here. He is one of the like renowned cloud person from the cloud background. So today we are going to talk about more of the things around the cloud, DevOps, and various things. Other than that, welcome to the Cloud Native Talk episode 7. I'm going to ask really awesome questions today because we have the developer advocate person with the cloud native things and cloud things. So you know what will happen today. So move forward to the Rishab. He will introduce himself because he's the only person who can introduce himself. I know he has done various things. So yeah, Rishab, go ahead.
Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for having me on the podcast. Yeah, episode 7. So I'm Rishab. I work as a developer evangelist for Twilio. I've had experience as a cloud engineer, as a DevOps engineer, and I've been in the tech industry for almost 5 years now. And yeah, I also teach part time as a professor. I teach AWS at the college that I graduated from, and we'll dive deep into the education,
Nice.
history. And yeah, I'm also an AWS community builder, and some of you may already know Learn to Cloud. So yeah, those are a few things that I've achieved recently.
Yeah, nice. So I don't know how to summarize this because you have done various things. So going forward, I have one questions for you. Like you were previously in the India, right? So how was your journey from India to the Canada, and how the things are going, and how are you now?
Yeah. So, thank you for asking. Things are going good. The journey, I would say, was not kind of traditional because you know how it is in India. So, I did non-medical. So for people who don't know non-medical, it's just science. So maths, chemistry, and physics in your grade 11 and 12, and then the JEE exam that everyone gives, right? So I got
Yeah.
a good university in Punjab. So I'm from Punjab basically, and the thing is, it was too far, and also like I didn't find the studies were really good. There were many
Oh,
issues, including like I couldn't find accommodation,
yeah.
so I had to commute 30 minutes in the morning. And yeah, I think I was just too young to move out at that time, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I moved a bit closer to my family, so I transferred to another university which was closer, and that was in Chandigarh. But again, like I studied there for 2 semesters, so I completed a year in computer science. But I found like what the scope is, like there was too much competition in India when it came to jobs, especially if you're aiming for like big tech companies. Uh, so I had friends back then in college or university. Few of them moved out to Canada. Few of them went to
Oh,
like Australia and other countries mid degree. So they were doing their degree, but they decided to move out. And I'm like, okay. So I asked them, and it seemed like they made like a good choice, I guess. But the thing is, I couldn't afford, a computer science degree in Canada or US because it's so expensive. The other route I would have to take is
yeah.
give the SAT exam and get a scholarship if I was smart enough. Um, but yeah, so I decided to take a computer networking and technical support diploma, which was for 2 years, and yeah, moved to Canada.
Nice. So, to summarize everything, he has not done traditional method of like everyone goes to the Canada by doing the traditional thing, like they go the SAT, they do the GRE, and then they go for the studies and like MS or bachelor's. But Rishabh doesn't follow that traditional method. He chooses his own path, and we know like where he is today. So it was really inspiring journey because I see nowadays you are in the magazines of your college also. So that is also the nice story, right? You can also share with our audience, and with that we will also know what to know like how the things like around the learn to cloud. So it is the big term today, right? So everyone is when it comes to the learning the cloud technologies and cloud native technologies, they know the few websites like where they can go and study and stuff, right? So yeah, like how you started this community, what was your goal, and now we see you at the magazine also. So what was this entire transition? Yeah,
Yeah, so I think I'll share a bit pieces of a bit of a history of. So I completed my diploma. It was a technical support diploma, so the only role I could really get is either IT admin, who were the students who were really smart. They went and became sysadmins and IT admins. My internship was an IT admin, but I got a full time offer as a support person, right? So I was supporting customers with IT or computer related issues, and I realized that I don't want to do that for like the longer term of my career. And
right,
that's when I think I started shadowing developers, QA people, and like cloud engineers. We had a team back in the company that I worked for. And yeah, I said, okay, I don't want to be a developer. I don't want to be in QA. I think cloud is, something that I want to do. And it was like fascinating
right,
how all these systems worked. And this was back in 2018. So just seeing that like ecosystem and like how these big SaaS companies are working with the help of cloud and all the amazing features of scalability, elasticity, just like it blew my mind. And that's how the journey started for me, learning cloud. And I think when I look back, I wanted like mentor or guide, which would have made my journey easier. I did
oh,
had a cloud team that was supportive, but they were only able to guide me for that particular company, right? We only used
right,
AWS. We used it like few services inside AWS, right? So the only architecture I was ever exposed to was for that company. And yeah, I think that was the thought process behind Learn to Cloud is Gwen, she's a cloud advocate at Microsoft. She's one of my great friends. She had a similar journey, right? And yeah, she just sat down, came up with this idea that, hey, like we have made a career in cloud by self learning and self teaching ourselves. So why not, you know, put that all down into a guide so that people can be helped, especially the ones
right,
who cannot go to colleges and, the traditional route.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is the story behind Learn to Cloud.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So what you like currently what you share in the Learn to Cloud and how the things are going around. So
Sure, sure. So we have five phases. So you can think of phases as chapters or different parts of the guide. So you start with phase one or phase zero, depending where you are in your career, right? And then basically phase one is Linux and networking. So you need to know Linux and networking. I'm sure you agree, Rohit. Um,
yeah,
then phase two is a bit of programming fundamentals, not to the level of a developer, but you still need to
yeah,
be able to script, right? So phase two is programming
right,
fundamentals, and then phase three is you pick a cloud provider. So it could be anything. So let's say you're in Canada. Here, AWS is really popular, right? So you pick a cloud provider, can be Azure, can be GCP too. And then phase four is DevOps. So you learn about IAC, you learn about monitoring, you learn about CI/CD. And then phase five is cloud security for folks who are like interested to go into cloud security. So I think those are the five phases, and then we have resources on projects and books and stuff that we recommend. So yeah, that is how the guide works in a nutshell.
Oh, got it. So, like, if someone wants to start from scratch, so like they have to learn everything, or like they have to consider particular things as at that start, or like if someone is just like looking for the job, not for going directly into the traditional like they don't want to deep dive into the same as like employee. They just want to crack the job and get the things done. So they want to follow every path of this, or like you have created some separate things.
No, so there is no separate thing, but we have had created videos that explain, different aspects you can take within Learn to Cloud.
Oh,
So I
nice.
found, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I found that few people, they are at phase 4 learning about ISE and CICD, and they might already be applying for jobs, and they will get them because if they have went through the guide, and have
Right,
learned skills. So if you have the skills, I think at the end you'll definitely land a job. And we have had few
right.
success stories of people who have used Learn to Cloud and got jobs within the cloud space, which is, I think, really makes me happy.
Yeah, at the end, that is the only thing which makes us happy, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
if at least one person gets a job, that is awesome feeling.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to hear that thing. So currently you and Gwen, two of you are like working towards this awesome initiative, right? So I would also like to know like what will be your future goals of the Learn to Cloud, and are you like scaling it to the big thing, and will we see you on the like various channels or something, because you are already on the newspapers, magazines, and other podcasts. Nowadays you are also on the like news podcast with other people, right? So I recently saw you on some Punjabi channel, right? Your
Yeah, yeah,
friend
yeah.
must be that. Yeah, so it
Oh,
was really
okay.
nice.
No, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about that too, but yeah, for I'll answer the first question about like what's the future, right? For Learn to Cloud, I think the way me and Gwen have worked is we each year we have this phase where we make some changes, good amount of changes to the guide, and it's usually in the beginning of the year, right? We have like a sprint, and right now
Oh,
we improved the website itself. We have search now. The website performance is really good. Earlier it was just README. We were
uh,
using Doxify with GitHub pages, whereas now we have moved it to Azure, and we are like paying for the infrastructure to make sure it's accessible at every time. And yeah, so just some improvements with the platform itself. But I think the guide itself is in a good shape since last year, like the actual learning content.
yeah,
So I think that the content itself is in like maintenance mode. But I know Gwen created a course called Bash for Beginners, which is free on YouTube. So now that is part of the guide itself because we said in phase 1 you need to learn Linux, right? So I think,
right.
yeah, think of videos that are learning material that will be coming with Learn to Cloud guide. Right now it's written, right? So we'll be having like courses or content that's free
Nice,
created
nice,
by Gwen or me or other community members as part of the guide. So that
nice,
is
nice.
the, I think, the near future for the guide.
Yeah, it is nice. So yeah, I have seen you collaborating with other folks also, which will be soon coming to our Cloud and Talks next episodes. So you must know that people already. So they are also nice guys who are like miss in DevOps world. Whoever I see on the Cloud Native and DevOps podcast and anyway, they are different than entire thing. So it is really nice to collaborate with those folks. So this was your entire cloud journey and stuff and so. So currently you're working at Twilio, right? So how you come to the Twilio as like developer evangelism. So it is one kind of really, I would say, really different kind of role nowadays, right? So you can explain that to the our audience also.
Definitely. So I think the advocacy part in me, um, like really came in when I was making videos and making writing technical articles. For me, it started with blogs. So for the first year, when I started producing like public content, which was back in 2021, it was all blogs. So 2020 to 2021, we all know COVID hit, right? So I was stuck at
Yeah.
home, didn't have much to do. Like this, my social life was zero at the time because of COVID, and like rules were really strict, right? We all know that. So I think that's when I was like, I need to find a hobby that I can still pursue while sitting at my desk. And one of my so the DevOps manager recommended that you write great documentation, so for the internal like tools and stuff. Why don't you like start writing technical blogs and it'll help your career? And at that time, I think this is 2020, so like 3 years from now. And I'm like,
Nice.
sure, yeah, I think I can write technical blogs. It's not that hard. So I started doing that, and I loved the like the workflow. So you have to do research, you have to make sure the things that I'm writing make sense to someone who is not familiar with the technology. So I think all of that, like a system, made me really passionate about writing stuff. And the first year I did 36 articles, which was, I think, the most amount of articles I've written in any year. Like after that, what happened is I needed to improve my public speaking skills. So, coming on camera or in a meeting. I have this short story where my manager asked me to present a project that I did in Terraform in an internal meeting, and I could not because I was so anxious.
Oh,
And the take back from that was as a lesson is that I needed to improve my public speaking skills, especially for the projects that I have built myself. Like you need to come up and speak about those because only
right.
then you will be recognized, especially within a company. So I think that was a turning point. He recommended me to start a YouTube. I'm like, okay, I had these 36 articles that are already written. So they basically acted as a script to my YouTube videos. So I'm like, okay, I'll create these 36 videos that will be just my article in a video format.
Right.
So I recorded my first video. I didn't publish for 30 days. Like it took me
Oh,
30 days to gain the courage to post it.
build the
It was
confidence.
edited. Yeah, it was edited and everything and saved, but I just couldn't post it. And yeah, and then I think the turning point was in 2022. So last year, January, I joined Google as a technical solutions specialist. I didn't like the role as much. Google was, one of the companies that I wanted to work for when I was in 10th or ninth. But yeah, the role was not a fit for me. And I quit that after 5 months. And as soon as I quit, I was looking for opportunities. And that's when Twilio came in. They're like, you're doing developer relation stuff already, and now it was like 2 years. So 2020 I started blogs and stuff. So it has been
Right.
2 years that I've been advocating for cloud just on my own, not as a job. So I'm like, maybe I like this as a full-time job. So I went in for the interviews and stuff, and here we are.
Nice, nice. So it's like to summarize everything, you mentioned the one of the important point, like if you don't vouch for your work, you don't sell yourself, then it will be like your content is your project, your efforts are not getting to the right people. So you have to be the nice public speaker for that. Not public speaker, but you have to be like you have to be the validation for your work, I would
Yeah.
say. Yeah, and another thing you mentioned, like moving to developer evangelism, it is not like I had the same journey like you. So it was never a goal for me to get as a developer evangelism or developer
Nice.
advocate. It was like similarly, it just happened because people know your efforts. If you are active, people know you on the not only
Hmm.
on the social media platform. Because when I got the when I got your this role, developer advocate, I just had, I guess, 600 followers or something on Twitter. So it is similar. Like it is not about followers. It is about the
No.
how your content is doing. Is it helping the people? It is reaching the
Yeah.
nice audience. So if you are helping the people, then obviously, yeah, I'm sure. Like that's why this Twilio voice reached out to you for the developer evangelism post. And we know rest is the history. Like you are talking everywhere, and recently we saw you at the Civo Navigator, and so it was also awesome. So nice, everything. It was inspiring kind of a journey. So furthermore, would you like to add some points around like what you are talking currently on the speaking and so are you focusing on the APIs? Are you focusing on the cloud? And so how the things will go on?
So I think with my cloud stuff, serverless is major topic that I'm talking about this year, and also like full projects. So like good projects that people can have or build along. That will be going either on. You'll see it on my channel for sure, but also I'll be talking about those at different events if that opportunity comes, right? And then when it comes to not cloud or like Twilio specific, yes, like the APIs is the
Yeah.
focus, but I think that is also like I found a good mix between serverless and APIs because you can build serverless APIs now. So yeah, I think that will be the theme for this year if nothing other interesting technology comes along the way that I want to explore. Yeah, for my own learnings, I think as the podcast says, cloud native, I'm trying to upskill myself with containerization.
Got
So
it.
like Docker, I've been doing that for it's been a month now, so I'm learning, um, and then after that it'll be obviously Kubernetes and like the orchestration part of it. So this year's focus is that.
Oh, got it, got it. So, so if you would like to answer this question, like, why should anyone learn the cloud in 2023? So it is common question everywhere, right? And also to relate it with the developer evangelism. So developer evangelist. So people think like developer evangelist get paid really high or something. So that is also the another doubt of the people. So uh, let me ask you, like you are the one guy who can answer the both of the questions at the equal terms. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think for the first question, why someone should learn cloud. Okay, so the one misconception of being not only being active in the community and working with students, but also teaching, students is I found that especially in the computer science world, students think that the only role that is well paying and has good future is software development, which is not the case. And there are so many roles in IT. I just don't say it for cloud. You could be sysadmin, you could be, a Microsoft 365 or Power Platform engineer. So
Mhm.
like look for things that, makes like you are interested in or you want to learn those things. You can sit down and work with those tools every day. And once you have find that, I think you can make a career out of it if you have the right skills. So same thing goes for cloud. And I advocate for cloud because, the things that it has done for me, right? So from being an international student who was working in support, so I worked in a gas station before this. I had when I was doing my diploma to like, cover my expenses and fees. And I also have worked as a pizza delivery guy. So I was earning $10 to getting into support where I was earning $18 an hour to, being in cloud now where like I'm like financially free. So the things I think cloud has brought into my life, like I can't count off how many positive things that have happened with the career itself. And also like I am passionate about, cloud. I love as I said, the engineering side of it, like how all these
Right.
systems work and the power that it has given, especially the like startups. Think about it. They can't set up data centers on day one, but now you can start like a startup company within few, weeks, if not days,
True,
with
true.
your product. So yeah, find things that make you like happy and question things, and really have an interest in. And it doesn't have to be cloud, but I'm trying to show people that okay, you know about software development, but there's this other thing, cloud, which you can learn and still be called like successful. I don't know, in the technology space. So yeah, that's my take on your first question. For the developer evangelism, I think, and I can tell this by like my personal experience. I started doing advocacy kind of role for cloud and myself through my YouTube and blog. Even though, as Rohit said, the following or the social media present doesn't count, it's what they look for is how well you can communicate with the community itself. Like, how are you explaining technical terms in your own language and make sure it makes sense? So I don't even remember now. I had really less followers or subscribers or people who would read my blog. But if it was a good blog that made sense, it was explaining a technical topic. Yeah, that's what they see. When it comes to the question about money, I think that really depends on where the company is, where you are located, and how, like, what's the level of experience you have had in evangelism or advocacy. And I am actually working on a video about salary or
Oh,
compensation in DevRel because there's not much information available. Because for
right.
software development you have levels.fy, but for like developer relations, I had trouble when I was negotiating my salary with Twilio because I couldn't get
Right.
much data, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So only one time I saw the data, which was with, I guess, developerrelations.com.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They released some kind of survey. So that only has the data. Otherwise, there is nothing about developer relations. So, according to salary kind of a thing. So, yeah, it will be really awesome video and it will help so many folks who want to deep dive into the DevRel as future.
Yeah,
So you can also discuss like DevRel, you should go with the DevRel or not. So that will be
exactly.
another kind of a, yeah. So yeah, I would also tell the audience like don't go with the hype, focus on what you can do and what you can achieve and what entertains you, what you enjoy. That matters at the end because otherwise it will be no use if you don't enjoy your work. You will just if you will just do your stuff and you will work for the company, not for yours. So that is the thing. I guess we covered all of the points for today and for I know in the future I will invite the Rishabh for I will disturb him more of times now because I have this Cloud Night Talks running and he's the
For
guy
sure.
he will come more of the times here. So thanks for joining today and to give the last conclusion kind of a thing. So you can tell the audience like if from India, right? So most of the folks from the India wants to go abroad and do the MS and do the SAT, and then they want to uh, do the higher studies and then go for the job, not joining the Indian companies at the start. So is that kind of a thing they should go for? Not like you have to tell directly, but just like what can be the pointers to remember. Other thing, you should also bring spark on the things like uh, if you can't go, then what are the different options? And is remote job also on one of the way? Like because it is also popular, but it is easy or not? That is also the another thing, right? It is not like yeah, you can only tell these things.
Yeah, so I think when it comes to staying in India and like finding your first job, especially if you, so let's say you went through the bachelor's route, right? You got yourself a computer science degree. Yes, I would say if, and I think it's hard. It's really hard to get a job abroad when you have studied in a different country and then you're applying for it because of the visa stuff that's involved. A lot of the companies, don't want the hassle to deal with immigration and stuff. It takes a lot of efforts, not only for you, but also for the company to bring you to another country. I think the smartest way to work around that, especially if your goal is to go, abroad, is get a job in India, build your skills, look for companies that are, global. So we already know big tech is global. So Google, Microsoft, all of these companies are global. But look at, small and medium sized businesses and startups. They're also, you know, if not two or three, they might be present in 4 to 5 countries. Start working for them. And once you have proved your like value within the company, it might take a year, it might take 2 years. Ask them to, sponsor you to a different country. And I've
Oh,
seen
nice.
I've seen my friends do this, and I think it really worked out well for them. Whereas, now I don't have a degree in my example. I had to work like what 5 years to be where I am right now. Whereas, for them it was, I won't say easy because now you have to prove your worth back in India,
Yeah, right.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
India is really competitive. But I
Mm-hmm.
think it worked out for them going the degree path back in India to moving abroad through the company sponsorship. So that is one way to
Nice.
do it. And when it comes to remote work, I think Rohit, you can agree it's really competitive, right?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to work remotely. Everyone wants to earn in dollars or pounds or euros. And when you have so many skilled people who all want to do same thing, you'll get competition. So I think you really need to work hard and like build skills that are not easily, available within the market to reach to that level that, hey, I can apply for remote jobs. I'm not saying it cannot be done. I'm saying, you'll have to work hard for it.
Right. Yeah, it was really awesome, pointers. Thank you. Thank you for doing go so like to summarize. He mentioned about the your GRE and that stuff also. Like if you want to do go to the US and US, Canada, or Europe to study and stuff, you can yeah points to remember. Other thing is what are the other ways loopholes you
Yes.
can go with that. Third is a remote job, so it is tricky. It is achievable, but you have to really study hard because not it is like everyone is running in this thing. So it previously people were running for the fang and stuff, and
Yeah.
right. So now they are running for the remote jobs also. So competition is really nice, really higher. So you have to be the on race. You have to raise your bar, I would say. So that's the thing. So thank you, Rishabh, for joining our Cloud to Talk episode 7,
Thank you.
and hope
Thank you.
it was nice for you to. I think you enjoyed it, right? Really.
Yeah.
So
No,
thank
no,
you.